Today, we've got a super exciting topic, Mark Strong and his incredible journey playing not one, not two, but three villains in the DC universe. That's right, Mark Strong is back at it again in The Penguin, and we're breaking down why he's basically become DC's go-to-bad guy. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, who's been watching The Penguin? I mean, the latest episode has really raised the stakes, especially with the introduction of Sofia Falcone's backstory. It's dark, it's tragic, and it's absolutely gripping. We see her tortured and manipulated, framed for the Hangman murders, and who's behind it all? The one and only Carmine Falcone, of course. But wait, Carmine is dead, right? If you watch The Batman, you know that he was gunned down by the Riddler, played by Paul Dano. So how's he back? Well, it's all thanks to flashbacks. But here's the kicker. John Turturro, who played Carmine in The Batman, isn't coming back for these scenes. Instead, we've got Mark Strong stepping into the role, and man, does he bring that sinister energy? Now, let me tell you something. Mark Strong is no stranger to playing villains. And when I say no stranger, I mean this guy has a PhD in playing bad guys. You've seen him as the cold, calculating antagonist in Sherlock Holmes. You've seen him as the ruthless mobster in Kick-Ass. But let's talk duck. Mark Strong has already played not one, but two villains in the DC universe before stepping into The Penguin. So buckle up, because we're taking a trip down memory lane. First stop, Green Lantern. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Wait, Green Lantern? That's the movie everyone tries to forget. And you're not wrong. It was a box office disaster, critically panned, but hear me out. Mark Strong was actually one of the best parts of that movie. He played Sinestro, and for those of you unfamiliar with the character, Sinestro is the arch-nemesis of Hal Jordan, played by Ryan Reynolds. But here's the interesting part in the 2011 film. Sinestro isn't exactly a full-blown villain. Yet. Yeah, he's more like an authority figure who's super distrustful of Hal Jordan, which makes sense because Hal is this cocky, rebellious new Green Lantern. Sinestro's all about discipline and order, and he suggests creating a yellow ring of fear to defeat the main baddie, Parallax. But Hal talks him out of it. Sounds like the beginning of a beautiful friendship, right? Wrong. Because then we get that end, credits scene. Sinestro slips on that yellow ring, setting himself up to become the villain we know from the comics. But guess what? That sequel never happened. Oh, missed opportunities, am I right? Now fast forward a few years, and Mark Strong is back in the DC universe. But this time, the movie doesn't bob. I'm talking about Shazam. What a ride, am I right? We go from Ryan Reynolds' snarky Hal Jordan to Zachary Levi bringing us some fun, heart, and humor with Billy Batson. But of course, every great superhero needs a great villain, and that's where Mark Strong comes in, as Dr. Thaddeus Sivana. Let's talk about Sivana for a second. He's not just any bad guy, okay? This man was rejected by the same wizard who gives Billy Batson his powers, and as a kid, that rejection devastates him. So what does Sivana do? He grows up, dedicates his whole life to finding the wizard again, and when he does, he allies himself with 7 deadly demons. Yeah, this dude isn't messing around. He's driven by a thirst for power and revenge, and Mark Strong just nails that ruthless, sinister energy. But once again, we get that infamous DC curse, another end, credits tease that never really goes anywhere. Remember that scene where Sivana's in prison and he teams up with this creepy alien caterpillar Mr. Mind? Yeah, that was supposed to set up something big for Shazam 2, but let's be real. DC's whole universe reboot with James Gunn and Peter Safran pretty much means we won't see that story play out. And that's a shame, because Mark Strong brought a lot to that character. So, after Green Lantern and Shazam, what's next for Mark Strong in the DC universe? Well, here we are with the Penguin, and this time he's playing one of Gotham's most iconic crime lords, Carmine Falcone. But this role is a little different because we're getting flashbacks to a younger Carmine, a man just as dangerous as he is in The Batman, but maybe even more manipulative. I mean, this is the guy who framed his own daughter for murder. That's next level villainy. In The Penguin, Carmine is shown grooming his children, Sofia and Alberto, to take over the family business. But Carmine starts to get suspicious of Sofia. She's too independent, too much of a wild card. When Sofia starts questioning her mother's mysterious death, things take a dark turn. You see, her mum didn't die of suicide. She was murdered, and guess who's behind it? Carmine himself. He's got his daughter framed for the crime and sent off to Arkham Asylum. Talk about ruthless. And this role fits Mark Strong perfectly. He got that cold, calculated vibe down to a T. And let's talk about the big picture here. The Penguin is shaping up to be one of the best Gotham stories we've seen in a while. The dark, gritty atmosphere, the morally ambiguous characters, it's everything we love about this universe. And Mark Strong stepping in as Carmine Falcone just elevates the whole thing. This is a villain who doesn't rely on superpowers or fancy gadgets. He's just smart, manipulative, and dangerous in a way that feels real. So let's break it down. Mark Strong's journey through the DC universe has been nothing short of iconic. From almost villain Sinestro in Green Lantern to the power-hungry Doctor Sivana in Shazam, and now to the cold-blooded Carmine Falcone in The Penguin. Each role has been so different, but they all have one thing in common. Mark Strong knows how to play a bad guy. He's one of those actors who can make a villain both terrifying and captivating, and honestly, I'm here for it. So, what do you all think? Will we get more of Mark Strong in the DC universe, or is this his last villainous hurrah? Are you loving his performance as Carmine Falcone in The Penguin as much as I am? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive into Mark Strong's DC villain roles. Make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got so much more content coming your way, from DC, Marvel, and everything in between. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.